Hello, ladies. Thanks so much for coming to my blog and checking out this video. I'm Radell and I'm here to talk about all things egg freezing. So, what are we going to chat about today? Well, my blog called What Your OBGYN Is Not Telling You is all about why I was a little bit frustrated that at 34 years of age, I had never heard about egg freezing from my OBGYN. You know, it took me 4 years of really self-reflection, thinking, should I really do this? I don't really have the means to do this, the funding, just the time, and so many more things that made me feel super vulnerable, question the science behind it, and if it was really something good and meaningful for me to have in my life. And because my doctor never said anything to me about it, that also made me question my own decision. So I thought it was important that we have a conversation today with, some may say, a progressive doctor. Her name is Dr.JoanDevine. She's going to share with us some thoughts on egg freezing and why she, after 10 years of in the practice, actually brings up the conversation with some of her patients that she sees. She is a little bit selective, and as we all know, it is a little bit of a touchy subject. So I think kudos to her for actually bringing up the conversation. So I really hope you enjoy this quick interview with Dr. Devine. By the way, love her name. And be sure to sign up for my newsletter if you haven't already so you don't miss another conversation where I talk to nurses, other doctors, women that have already frozen their eggs, and so much more, just so that we can share this conversation together online. And I want to hear from you, so place your comments in the section below the video, anywhere on my blog. I'd love to know what you're thinking, what questions you still have about egg freezing, and whatever it is that keeps you up at night thinking about this subject. So, by the way, disclaimer, this video is just for information purposes only. Whatever you might see or hear is just for a conversation. Of course, always go see a doctor, as this is not medical advice. So, thanks ladies for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy it. Hello, Dr. JoanDevine. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you, Radell?
Good. It's so nice to talk to you today. Thank you so much for sharing your time and energy and your thoughts with us.
You're welcome. I'm looking forward to it too.
Awesome. Well, I know that you've been in private practice now for quite some time. I know you see a lot of patients every day and you have over 10 years of experience. So I was hoping you could just share a little bit of background about who you are and, you know, maybe how you got to what you're doing on a daily basis, and we could go from there.
Sure. Well, I trained in Philadelphia at Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Okay.
And did my residency at a hospital just outside of the city.
Okay.
And joined a practice at that hospital. And I practice general gynecology and obstetrics. So I see a wide range of patients. I see teenagers, I see women in their 20s, 30s, and 40s having children, and for routine gynecologic care.
Okay.
And I also see women going through menopause and later in life.
So I wanted to chat with you. I think it's really interesting because, as you know, I am a fan of educating women, especially from, if they go to you on an annual basis and only see you every year. I really find that I didn't find much information from my doctor about egg freezing. So I wanted to get your thoughts on, the subject of fertility in women and egg freezing.
Sure. It's definitely a topic where we're beginning to see more awareness, but it's not quite there.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a fairly new technology.
Okay.
In my practice, I see a fair number of women who are educated or may have heard about it, and so there are times where some women come to me asking about it, but that's not the norm.
Okay. What percentage do you think of women, just like ballpark, actually ask you about the topic of egg freezing?
It's really like 1%. It's
Wow.
maybe once every 1 to 2 months I might have someone ask me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I do think, if I were in your shoes, that it might be a little bit of a delicate subject. So I'm curious how you bring it up to some patients.
And you're totally right about that. It's delicate for a number of reasons. Some women, and there's stigma associated with this whole topic, right?
Yeah.
Like, you are maybe in your 30s. Sometimes we don't want to apply more pressure or stress and bring up that discussion of, hey, have you thought about having a family? Are you thinking about it?
Yeah.
But I find that it's a great way, just like that, to ask. And most women are very much open and ready to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I see someone who's about 32, 33, and as I've gotten to know them, I'll each year find out where they are in their life, how's their job, how's their family, and is there a significant other. And so even just starting with those questions, I can sometimes kind of gauge, is this person going to be receptive to me bringing up that topic?
Yeah. I think that's really nice to hear that you are thinking about the patient that way, because I'm sure you have a lot of patients to get through in a day, and sometimes that might not be the highest priority on the list. So why do you think some doctors, because I do believe, I'm a little shocked that women, I look to my doctor to think I'm getting all the information from this person that I need.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think that, some doctors may not talk about it or don't even really bring it up at all with any of their patients?
Well, I think one could be a time issue.
Mm-hmm.
The physician has so much time allotted for each annual, so that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing. Another could be they don't want to stress the patient about thinking, okay, hey, your clock is ticking. When are you going to
Yeah.
have a baby?
Yeah.
I think cost comes into play because
Mm.
there's not great insurance coverage for this.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to recommend something when, you may well know that this person probably doesn't have the means to afford it.
Mm-hmm.
And some physicians just might not be as familiar with it,
Mm.
or they might not have fertility centers nearby to offer that.
Mm.
I
That's
think,
really good.
yeah.
So what do you think made you, I guess, aware of the topic and made you want to and do talk to women about it that come to you?
Well, I'm lucky to practice in an area where there are 4 or 5 fertility centers that offer egg freezing. So
Mm.
there's a lot of physician awareness about it in my
Mm.
area, and
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, people with means who could
Mm-hmm.
potentially do this. But really, I had a friend in training who did egg freezing,
Mm-hmm.
went through the process, and since I got to see it firsthand, I can easily tell a patient, like, hey, yeah, it's maybe 2 months of intensive, a time commitment of, and sometimes you might feel uncomfortable, but it's a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that helped too.
That's awesome. And so what do you think, if you could recommend anything to someone, like what age would you start? Would you say that a woman should consider the topic, and what would you recommend to someone that maybe is going to an annual doctor every year and they aren't getting any information, but they're kind of doing a little bit of research on their own, or even just heard about the topic because they heard a celebrity did it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What types of information or tips or feedback would you give that person?
I would say if going for your annual, it's great to always come prepared with some questions. I love when
Mm-hmm.
patients pull out their phone, they have their list of questions,
Yeah.
and maybe it's simple as, hey, I'm 32, because the fertility specialists recommend somewhere between 32 and 37 years old.
Okay.
I'm 32, and can I still have children, or like when does age really play a role in my childbearing? And just
Mm-hmm.
asking that would hopefully open up that dialogue
Yeah.
with your doctor.
That's great. Well, thank you, Joan. I really appreciate your time today
You're
and
welcome.
your thoughts. And we would love to talk to you again soon about this topic because there's just so much to chat about. But for now, thank you for sharing all the nuggets, and we hope to see you again soon.
You're welcome, Radell. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.